They watched me, the way one watches a dog learn tricks. They laughed at my stumbles. They clapped for my obedience. I wore their masks. I played their game. I danced on the stage they built for me, and they believed it was all I could ever be. They thought I was fragile, harmless, predictable. Their fool. Their amusement was my cage. Their smiles were chains, and I wore them willingly. I smiled back. I bowed. I agreed. I laughed when they expected it. I cried in silence when they weren't looking. Every whispered insult, every dismissive glance, every quiet betrayal, I absorbed it all. They thought I was empty, a vessel of entertainment. But even as I bent, I was learning. I was watching. I was remembering. The weight of their expectation pressed down, and yet I grew, quietly, slowly, invisibly, like roots burrowing through stone, finding cracks, forcing life into places no one thought possible. They never saw me, and they never will, because they assumed I was nothing. And then one day, it happened. I heard it differently. Their laughter, their mockery, the glances that cut like knives. They were no longer harmless noise. They were chains. They were the sound of a system that thrived on control, on complacency, on the humiliation of those too weak or too polite to resist. Every sneer became a question. Why am I letting them define me? Every joke became a mirror, reflecting all I had endured. I felt the shift inside me, a subtle tightening of the chest, a quiet fire igniting behind my eyes. The pain was no longer my prison. It was my teacher. The contempt became clarity. Every dismissal became a map. Every slight a weapon. Every betrayal a guide. I saw them for what they were, afraid of the power they denied, terrified of the strength they could never possess. And I was beginning to awaken. It was not dramatic. There were no fireworks, no shouts, no declarations, just a decision, a single, deliberate choice. I would no longer bow. I would no longer perform. I would no longer exist to amuse them or comfort their fragile egos. And the moment I stopped playing their fool, the world shifted. I felt it. The air around me thickened. The silence deepened. The eyes that once ignored me now searched for cracks, for hesitation, for weakness, but there was none. I stood, calm, still, unyielding. I severed the strings they tied to me. I broke the mirrors they placed before my face. I left their stage, alone, untamed. The storm within me settled, and yet it promised ruin to those who had underestimated me. And they noticed. Oh, they noticed. Their hatred rose, fueled by fear, by confusion, by disbelief. They hated because they could not understand. They hated because they had grown comfortable in their assumptions. And I destroyed them. I became the question they could not answer, the shadow they could not chase, the consequence they had never imagined. Their comfort turned to terror. Their amusement turned to rage. Every system they built to suppress me crumbled under the weight of my silence, of my defiance. And they hated me all the more, because I had stopped playing the fool they thought I was. I had stopped dancing for them. I had stopped bending to their will. And in that choice, I became something untouchable, something inevitable, I did not rebuild myself in haste. I did not roar immediately. I forged slowly, carefully, deliberately. Every wound became armor. Every insult became discipline. Every moment alone became focus. I took the shards of what I was and reshaped them into what I could be. I became sharper than their tongues, stronger than their chains, and colder than the indifference that had defined my world. I walked in silence, unseen, unnoticed, while the world continued its small cruelties, unaware that it had already lost. Each step I took was measured, each breath a claim of power. And now, I am no longer reacting. I am no longer surviving. I am commanding. I am sovereignty, incarnate, and they cannot stop it. No words can pierce me. No judgment can bend me. Their hatred is proof. Proof that I am dangerous. Proof that I am seen, finally, for what I have become. The systems they relied on, the hierarchies they built, all crumble before me because I am relentless. I do not negotiate. I do not bargain. I do not plead. I rise because I have learned. I have endured. I have chosen. Let them hate. Let them fear. Let them crumble. Every whisper, every glance, every desperate attempt to reclaim control only sharpens my edge. I am not their fool. I am their reckoning. I am the consequence of underestimation. I am the shadow they cannot outrun. I am the storm that quieted before consuming everything. Let them seethe. Let them gnash their teeth. Let them whisper my name with dread in their hearts. Because their comfort was always fragile, built on my silence. And now, there is no silence, no compromise, no mercy, only the power I have claimed, and the inevitability of my rise. I stand unshaken, unburned, untouchable. I am the one they never believed could exist. And yet here I am, stronger, sharper, entirely unbroken. Let them hate what they cannot control. Let them rage against what they cannot understand. Let them fear the truth they cannot face. I am no longer theirs to shape, to diminish, to amuse. I am mine entirely, and I will not bend. I will not falter. I will not apologize. The fire that consumed their illusions now fuels me. Every betrayal, every mockery, every quiet dismissal has been repurposed into something unstoppable. They wanted me small, obedient, predictable. Their fool. They wanted to control me. They wanted me broken, but I refused. And in that refusal, I became inevitable. I am the shadow in their certainty. I am the silence in their noise. I am the strength in what they thought was weakness. And when they look at me now, they see nothing of the fool they imagined. They see only what they cannot touch, what they cannot break, what they cannot survive. I am relentless. I am unshakable. I am the echo of every underestimation, every insult, every betrayal they thought they owned. And it is magnificent. I do not need their approval. I do not seek their mercy. I do not ask for their understanding. I am my own reckoning, my own empire, my own storm. Let them hate. Let them fear. Let them fall. For I am no longer their fool. I am everything they never imagined. I am the shadow that consumes the light. I am the quiet that becomes a roar. I am the inevitable consequence of ignoring what cannot be ignored. They cannot stop me. They cannot silence me. They cannot unmake me. I have chosen. I have endured. I have risen. And now I will not be denied. I will not be bent. I will not fade. I will not apologize. They hate me because I am free. They hate me because I am strong. They hate me because I am more than they ever deserved to witness. And I stand beyond their hatred, beyond their fear, beyond their world. I stand unbroken, untouchable, unstoppable, and in that standing, I am victorious, not because they fell, but because I finally stopped playing the fool.